Wyomingites may be put on the hook for a carbon capture mandate in another state. Wyoming state revenues are up much higher than predicted, and Yellowstone might have to end the summer season earlier than planned due to a bitter winter storm blowing through the state. We'll take a look at these stories and more today from Wyoming's largest news organization. I'm Wendy Core for Cowboy State Daily. In the first of what will be 8 days or more of testimony about Rocky Mountain Power's proposed electricity rate increases, many of the questions centered around whether Wyomingites have been put on the hook for a carbon capture mandate in another state. Cowboy State Daily's Renee Jean was at Wednesday's hearing, in which questions centered around a carbon tax that's been placed on the Chehalis facility in Washington state, but which Washington residents have been sheltered from by that state's legislature.
Wyoming residents are paying a carbon tax that didn't originate from the Wyoming legislature. It originated from the Washington state legislature. And then Washington has turned around and created an offset program for its residents so that they're not sharing in a cost that they created.
Rocky Mountain Power's request for a $137.2 million rate increase has been a lightning rod, drawing more than 3,300 comments from the public. A new report shows that Wyoming's state revenues are up much higher than predicted. The Consensus Revenue Estimating Group, or CREG, reports that the strong natural gas prices seen in December 2022 and January 2023 led to much of the higher-than-expected revenues. Political reporter Leo Wolfson has the story.
Things are looking even rosier than they projected because of a big spike in natural gas prices. Don Richards, co-chairman of the group, said that it led to higher-than-expected revenues statewide. How high, you may ask? Basically, the current projections are coming in at about $178 million more than projected for 2023, but a surplus of nearly $870 million is expected through 2026.
Wolfson reports that the surpluses were also boosted by the $168.7 million in increased property tax revenue seen throughout the state. Although residents of Creston, Montana said the sight of a giant grizzly lumbering through a farm field in the lowlands near town isn't that unusual, newcomers and media organizations have gone bananas over a video that's made the rounds this week. A lifelong resident of the Northwest Montana community told Cowboy State Daily's Mark Hines that the grizzlies have always been there. It's just that there's been a huge influx of newcomers who aren't used to seeing the big Bruins in their backyards. However, Hines points out that the sight of a giant grizzly on the plains is a reminder to give them plenty of space.
No matter where you are, especially in the fall when the bears are highly active, don't take for granted that there's not a grizzly in the area and just be on the alert.
I'll be back with more news right after this.
At Hilltop Bank, we understand that buying a home is a big decision. That's why we're here to be your trusted partner on the path to home ownership. Our experienced mortgage team will guide you every step of the way, from pre-approval to closing. We offer competitive rates and a wide variety of home loan options to best suit your needs. With our local knowledge and personalized service, you'll feel confident and comfortable throughout the entire home buying process. Contact us today to start your journey toward home ownership. Hilltop Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Sometimes revenge is a dish best served cold. That may play out for a Burns restaurant owner who's suing the town for evicting it. Cowboy State Daily's Leo Wolfson says the Rustic Plate Cafe will be taking the town of Burns to court Thursday about the status of the business's lease with the city.
Earlier this month, the town filed basically a forced to eviction notice in court to try to legally force the business out. And then the restaurant sued the town about a week later. The two parties will meet in court on Thursday morning.
Rustic Plate owner Ashley Osterman is alleging the breach of an implied contract, saying that the town didn't live up to promises it made. She seeks a declaratory judgment from the court to prevent the eviction. And most Yellowstone roads and entrances are scheduled to close for the season November 1st, but the first nasty winter system of the season could accelerate that timeline. Cowboy State Daily's Andrew Rossi says a bitter winter weather pattern that began moving through northern Wyoming Wednesday had already brought several inches of snow to America's first national park by late afternoon, and that could put a damper on the last few days of Yellowstone's summer season.
Once that passes, road crews will be out trying to clear the roads, but there is a priority in terms of what they clear first. So it's possible that people could still get into Yellowstone and enjoy the last gasps of fall until October 31st.
As of 4 p.m. Wednesday, the only open roads were the route between north and northeast entrances and roads from the west entrance to Norris Junction and Old Faithful. And that's today's news. Get your free digital subscription to Wyoming's only statewide newspaper by hitting the subscribe button on CowboyStateDaily.com. I'm Wendy Core for Cowboy State Daily.